Commander June stood tall in the middle of the huge round room. His gray uniform was clean and perfect. Sweat ran down his back, but his face showed nothing. He was a soldier of the Celestial Dominion for 20 years. He had fought in 3 wars. But today he was afraid. The 7 Grand Counselors looked down at him from their high seats. They were the oldest and most powerful aliens in the galaxy. They ruled over 1,000 worlds. Their word was law. "Commander June," said Grand Counselor Tilvax. Her body was made of blue crystal that caught the light. Her voice echoed in the silent room. "Tell us what happened on Earth." June took a deep breath. 3 months ago, our scout ships found a blue planet in a small star system. It had water, metals, and rare minerals we need. The people there were primitive. They had just started to use basic space travel. They had never met aliens before. And Tilvax's crystal body flashed with anger. I decided to take the planet by force." June's words fell into a shocked silence. They were primitive. They still fought each other over small pieces of land. They had no unified government. Our computers said we would win in 2 days with minimal losses. The room erupted in angry shouts. Some council members stood up, pointing at June. Others whispered to each other with wide eyes. Tilvax raised her hand, and everyone fell silent. "You invaded a world without council approval? Without even basic first contact?" "Yes, Excellency." June looked at the floor. "I thought it would be quick, easy." "Continue," said another counselor, an old alien with gray skin and 6 eyes. "We sent 500 ships, the most advanced battleships in the Dominion fleet. We had 100,000 soldiers. We attacked their major cities all at once." June paused. "Within 3 days, we had lost 300 ships and 87,000 soldiers." Gasps filled the room. "That's not possible," said a counselor. "Your weapons are thousands of years ahead of a primitive planet." Captain Hana stepped forward. She was shorter than June, but her presence was strong. A long scar ran across her face, still pink and new. "The humans don't fight like normal species," she said. Her voice was calm, but her hands shook slightly. "When we destroyed their armies, their regular people became fighters. When we took their cities, they fought from the forests and mountains." "But your technology," began a counselor. "They took it," Hana said simply. "They captured our ships. Within days, they had started to figure out how they worked. Within weeks, they were using our own weapons against us." June nodded. "We used our best technology. We cut off their communications. They built new ones overnight. We used our biological weapons. They changed these weapons somehow and sent them back to us. Half our doctors died before we knew what was happening." The council room was completely silent now. "But worst of all," Hana said, "they seemed to enjoy fighting us. We found their communications full of references to old wars and something they call movies. Many of these were about aliens invading Earth and humans winning. They had been thinking about this day for 100 years. They were ready for us before they even knew we existed. That's not the worst part," June added. His face had gone pale. "After we retreated to their moon, we watched what they did next. They didn't celebrate. They didn't rest. They started working together. All their countries, all their people. They took apart our left-behind ships and weapons. They learned in days what took us centuries to develop." "And now?" asked Tilvax, her crystal form dimmer now. "Now they know they're not alone in the galaxy. They know there are aliens who tried to take their world. And they're preparing for what comes next." June looked up at the council. "They're building ships, Excellency. They're coming." The room exploded with voices. "We must send the whole fleet." "No, you've seen what they did to our best ships. We should talk to them, make peace." "It's too late for that." Tilvax stood, and her crystal body glowed bright blue. Everyone fell silent again. "Show us," she ordered. June nodded to Hana, who touched a small device on her wrist. A big screen appeared in the middle of the room. It showed a blue and green planet, Earth. Then it zoomed in to show large cities. Humans walked around, looking Like shorter, weaker versions of June's people. They look harmless, said a counselor. Watch, said Hana. The screen changed to show a battlefield. A Dominion ship, one of the best in the galaxy, lay broken on the ground. Around it, small human vehicles moved quickly. Humans in simple protection suits were cutting the ship apart, carrying pieces away. The screen changed again. Now it showed a human lab. Scientists worked around a Dominion engine. One pointed at something and the others nodded excitedly. This was 3 days after we retreated, said June. 3 days and they were already understanding our engine technology. The screen showed another scene, a human factory. Workers were building what looked like a copy of a Dominion weapon, but with changes. They don't just copy, said Hana. They improve. The final scene showed a massive construction area. Thousands of humans worked around a large shape. It was a ship, a human ship, but with clear Dominion influences. This was yesterday, said June quietly. The council room was completely silent. How long? Asked Tilvax finally. A month. Maybe less. They will have working ships. Not as good as ours, but good enough to leave their system. June looked up at the council. And they're angry. What do they want? Asked a counselor. A new voice spoke from the back of the room. Sub-Administrator Dongwon of the Araxians stepped forward. The Araxians were known for their spy networks across the galaxy. They want revenge, said Dongwon. His face was serious. But more than that, they want to make sure this never happens again. They're afraid there are more of us coming to finish what Commander June started. Are all humans this adaptive? Asked Tilvax. Yes, said Dongwon. From what we've seen, it's their main strength. They lived on a world with rapidly changing conditions. They evolved to adapt quickly or die. And they've been fighting each other for thousands of years, always developing new weapons and defenses. What do you suggest, Sub-Administrator? Asked the council head. Dongwon looked at June and Hana, then back at the council. I suggest we talk to them, now, before they come looking for us with their new ships and their anger. We should offer peace, knowledge, and a place in the galactic community. They're primitives, shouted a counselor. They defeated our best fleet in 3 days, said Hana quietly. They're not primitive. They're just young. The screen changed one last time. It showed a human news report. A human leader stood in front of a large crowd. The translation appeared at the bottom of the screen. They came from the stars to conquer us. They thought we would be easy to defeat. They were wrong. And now we know we're not alone. We know there are threats out there, but they know something too. Earth is not a planet of victims. We will not hide. We will not cower. We will take our place among the stars, and we will make sure that what happened here never happens to us again. The crowd cheered wildly. June looked at the Grand Counselors. We made a terrible mistake, Excellencies. We woke something that had been sleeping, and now the galaxy will never be the same. Dr. Minho Park looked at the dead alien on the metal table. Even after a month, he still couldn't believe what had happened. One day, he was a regular doctor studying strange diseases. The next day, aliens were attacking Earth. Now, he was the head of a new science team studying alien bodies. Dr. Park, Director Kim is here, said his assistant Jiwoo. She was young but smart. Before the invasion, she was studying to be a doctor. Now she was helping study alien biology. Director Kim Sunwoo walked into the room. He was tall and serious. Before the aliens came, he worked for the Korean government. Now he led the new Global Defense Initiative, a group of people from all countries working together to protect Earth. With Director Kim was General Taeyong of the Korean military, and Dr. Yoonji Lee, a scientist who helped turn the tide of the alien invasion with her smart ideas. What have you learned about them? Asked Director Kim. He didn't waste time with hello. Minho pointed to the alien body. They evolved on a planet with stronger gravity than Earth. They are stronger than humans and have thicker bones, but they move slower than us. Their technology helped them overcome this, but once we understood their weaknesses, we used those weaknesses against them. finished General Taeyong. His face was grim. He had lost many soldiers in the first days of the invasion. Director Kim turned to Dr. Yoonji. And what about their ships? Yoonji touched a small device on her wrist. A 3D picture of an alien ship appeared in the air. They're faster than light. Travel technology is amazing. But their computer systems had weaknesses we could attack. They never expected us to learn their technology so quickly. The strange thing is, Minho added, their medical technology is actually behind ours in some ways. They focused on weapons, not healing. Director Kim nodded. The United Nations Security Council meets tomorrow. The aliens have moved back to Mars orbit. They're not attacking, but they're not leaving either. Our spy satellites show they might be waiting for more ships from their home. What's our plan? Asked General Taeyong. Director Kim's face hardened. We're going to capture one of their ships that still works. Then we're going to take the fight to them. Is that wise? Asked Minho. We barely pushed them back from Earth. We have no choice, said Director Kim. If we wait for them to bring more ships, we might not win next time. We need to show them that attacking Earth was a big mistake. Jiwoo, who had been quietly working at a computer, suddenly looked up. Sir, we've decoded more of their communications. They're not just telling their leaders they failed. They're warning them about us, about humans. Everyone in the room became quiet as they thought about what this meant. Good, said Director Kim finally. They should be afraid. 3 days later, Minho sat in a large meeting room at the United Nations building in New York. Leaders from all major countries were there. On big screens around the room, even more leaders watched from their home countries. Never before had so many of Earth's leaders met in one place. The alien ship we captured is now in a secure location, Director Kim was saying. He stood at the front of the room. Dr. Yoonji Lee's team has been studying its technology. Dr. Lee, please tell us what you found. Yoonji stood up. She looked tired. Minho knew she had been working day and night since the invasion. The alien ship uses a technology we call spatial folding to travel faster than light, she said. It's like taking a piece of paper, folding it so 2 distant points touch, and then moving through that fold. We've already built a small working model of the engine. Excited whispers filled the room. How soon can we build a full-size engine? Asked the President of the United States. 3 months, said Yoonji. Maybe less, we're not starting from zero. We have their technology to copy and improve. And weapons? Asked the Russian President. General Taeyong answered that question. We've reverse-engineered their energy weapons. Our versions aren't as powerful yet, but they work. We've also found weaknesses in their ship shields that our EU weapons can exploit. What about the aliens on Mars? Asked another leader. What are they doing? Director Kim touched a control, and a picture of Mars appeared on the main screen. Several alien ships were in orbit around the red planet. They're watching us and sending messages home, said Director Kim. Based on the messages we've decoded, they're asking for instructions. They don't know what to do about us. And the rest of the galaxy? Asked the Chinese premier. Are there more alien species out there? Yes, said Director Kim. From what? We've learned from their computers. There's a galactic council with 7 main species and hundreds of smaller ones. The aliens who attacked us are called the Celestial Dominion. They're one of the 7 main powers. The room was quiet as everyone thought about this news. Humans were not alone, and the galaxy was full of powerful alien civilizations. So what do we do now? Asked the Secretary General of the UN. Try to talk to them or prepare for more war? Both, said Director Kim. We build ships. We improve our weapons. We get ready for the worst. But we also try to communicate. We need to show them that we're not afraid, that attacking us was a mistake, but that we're open to peaceful contact if they respect us. Can we trust them after they tried to invade us? Asked the Japanese Prime Minister. Minho found himself standing up. All eyes turned to him. From what I've learned from studying their biology and their medical databases, he said, the Celestial Dominion has been the dominant power in their part of the galaxy for thousands of years. They're not used to being defeated. They've never met a species that could fight back like we did. I think they attacked us because they didn't see us as equals. We need to show them we are. Director Kim nodded. Dr. Park is right. Our plan is to build a small fleet of ships using their technology. When we're ready, we'll send a message to the Galactic Council. We'll tell them we want peace, but we're prepared for war if necessary. How long until we have our first ship ready? Asked the Indian Prime Minister. 6 months for the first test ship, said General Taeyong. 1 year for a small fleet. Too long, said Director Kim. We need the first ship in 3 months, the first fleet in 6. That's impossible, said Yunji. Even with all countries working together, nothing is impossible now, interrupted Director Kim. The aliens changed everything when they attacked us. Old rivalries, old disputes between our countries don't matter anymore. We're all Earth now, and Earth needs ships. Minho looked around the room. Leaders who had been enemies for decades were nodding in agreement. The alien invasion had done something no human could ever do. It had united Earth. 3 months, Director Kim repeated. In 3 months, humans will reach for the stars, and the galaxy will never be the same. Sub-Administrator Dongwon walked quickly through the long hallways of the Galactic War Council building. His people, the Araxians, had stayed neutral in galactic politics for hundreds of years. They worked as information traders, selling news and secrets to all sides. But today's news might change everything. Dongwon entered the big round meeting room. 20 high-ranking aliens from different species sat around a large table. They all turned to look at him. You're late, Sub-Administrator, said Admiral Ji Ye of the Celestial Dominion. She was tall and strong, with dark skin and eyes that missed. Nothing. I apologize, Admiral, said Dongwon with a small bow. But you will want to hear what I have to say. He placed a small device on the table. It lit up and showed a 3D picture of Earth's solar system. The humans have taken Mars, he said simply. The room erupted in shocked voices. Impossible, shouted Admiral Ji Ye. We still had 3 battle cruisers in orbit around Mars. Had, said Dongwon. They're gone now. The humans captured one and destroyed the other 2. How? Demanded another alien, a general from the Krell Empire. Those ships had our best technology. The humans adapted faster than anyone expected, said Dongwon. He touched the device and the picture changed to show a human ship. It looked like a mix of Earth and Dominion technology. They took Commander Jun's fallen ships and learned from them. They're building their own fleet now. Admiral Jihi stood up, her face dark with anger. We should send our entire fleet to crush them before they become a real threat. It's too late for that, said Dongwon quietly. They've discovered our subspace communication network. They've been listening to all our talks. They know the Dominion is arguing about whether to send more ships or to give up on Earth. The aliens around the table looked at each other nervously. If humans could listen to their private talks, what else could they do? There's more, continued Dongwon. He changed the picture again. Now it showed several human ships meeting with ships from other alien species. They've made contact with the fringe worlds. This news caused even more shock. The fringe worlds were smaller alien civilizations that the council species had often bullied or ignored. They're forming alliances, said Dongwon. The humans are offering to share technology with these smaller species. Technology they learned from the Dominion's failed invasion. This is unacceptable, said Admiral Jihye. We must stop this now. We need to establish a quarantine zone around their solar system. No ships in or out. Dongwon shook his head. It's too late for that too. He showed one final picture. It was a map of the galaxy with many small lights moving outward from Earth. This shows human exploration ships based on how fast they're building them. In 5 years, they'll reach the nearest star systems. In 20 years, they'll be at the doorstep of the inner worlds. The room fell silent as the aliens thought about what this meant. And one more thing, added Dongwon. They're sending a message on all communication channels, in all languages of the Galactic Alliance. What does it say? Asked the head of the council. Just 3 words. We are coming. 2 weeks later, Dongwon sat in a private meeting room with High Counselor Tilvax. Her crystal body glimmered in the dim light. "Is it true what they're saying?" asked Tilvax. "That the humans have learned to use our faster-than-light technology already?" "Yes," said Dongwon, "and they've improved it. Their ships are faster than ours now." "How is this possible?" Tilvax's crystal form flashed with frustration. "It took us thousands of years to develop that technology. The humans are different," explained Dongwon. "Their planet has always been dangerous and changing. They evolved to adapt quickly or die, and they've been fighting each other for their entire history. War drives innovation." "What do they want?" asked Tilvax. "Revenge?" "Partly," said Dongwon. "But mostly they want safety. They were attacked without warning or reason. Now they know there are powerful aliens out there who might attack again. They want to make sure they're never vulnerable again." Tilvax was quiet for a long time. Finally, she said, "I've called a special meeting of the Grand Council. All 7 High Counselors will be there. You will present everything you know about the humans." "There's one more thing you should know," said Dongwon. "Many of the fringe world species are watching us closely. How we handle the humans will affect our relationships with them. If we try to crush the humans, we might face a wider rebellion." "Are you suggesting we just let the humans do whatever they want?" asked Tilvax angrily. "Let them share our technology with lesser species? Let them challenge the order we've maintained for 10,000 years? "I'm suggesting we talk to them," said Dongwon. "Treat them as equals. Offer them a place in our galactic community. It's too late to stop them by force. We can only try to make them friends instead of enemies." On the other side of the galaxy, Commander June stood on the bridge of his new ship. After his failure on Earth, many had wanted him punished. But Admiral Chowty had given him one more chance. "Commander," said a young officer, "we're receiving a message from Earth. They're requesting to speak with you directly." June was surprised. "Put it on the main screen." The screen lit up, showing a human face. It was one of the human leaders June had seen in their broadcasts during the invasion. The human had a calm, serious face. "Commander June," said the human, "I am Director Kim Sunwoo of Earth's Global Defense Initiative. We've learned that you were the one who led the invasion of our world." June stood straighter. "I was." "Then you are the one I need to speak with," said Director Kim. "In 3 days, a human ship will arrive at the neutral space station in the Proxima system. I will be on that ship. I am inviting you to meet me there. Just you. One ship. I give my word that we won't attack." "Why would I agree to this meeting?" asked June. "Because you need to understand us if you hope to survive what's coming," said Director Kim. "And we need to understand you." The screen went dark. Captain Hana, who had been standing quietly nearby, moved closer to June. "It's a trap," she said. "They want revenge for the invasion." "Maybe," said June. "But if they wanted revenge, why talk at all? They could just attack. They've proven they can defeat our ships." "What will you do?" asked Hana. June looked out at the stars through the ship's window. Somewhere out there, the humans were spreading through space. Fast, adaptable, and angry. "I'll go," he said finally. "The council needs to know what these humans really want. And I need to see for myself what we've unleashed." Hana nodded. "I'll come with you." "It could be dangerous," warned June. "Everything about humans is dangerous," said Hana. "But we need to learn more if we're going to survive in a galaxy with them." June gave the order, and the ship changed course toward the Proxima system. In 3 days, he would meet face to face with the species he had tried to conquer, the species that had defeated his best forces in just 3 days. He didn't know if he would return from this meeting. But he knew one thing for certain. The galaxy was changing, and the celestial dominion would have to change with it, or it would not survive. The neutral space station hung in the darkness of space like a giant wheel. Built by the 7 main species of the Galactic Council, it was a place where different aliens could meet safely. No weapons were allowed inside. Commander June stood, at the window of his ship, looking at the space station. His mouth felt dry. In a few minutes, he would meet face to face with humans, the species he had tried to conquer, the species that had defeated his best forces in just 3 days. "Our scans show one human ship docked at the station," said Captain Hana. She stood beside June, her face serious. The scar across her face was a constant reminder of their failed invasion. "It's small, probably just a diplomatic vessel." "Any weapons?" asked June. "Hard to tell," said Hana. "Their technology has changed so quickly, but station rules say no weapons allowed." June nodded. "Take us in." Their ship moved slowly toward the station. As they got closer, they could see the human ship. It was smaller than their own, but its design was impressive, a mix of Earth style and alien technology. "They built that in 3 months," said Hana quietly. "Imagine what they'll build in a year." Inside the space station, Director Kim Sun-woo of Earth's Global Defense Initiative adjusted his uniform. It was a new design, dark blue with silver trim, representing all of Earth rather than any single country. Beside him stood Security Chief Yuna. She was checking a small device on her wrist. "Are you sure bringing weapons was wise?" asked Director Kim. "This is supposed to be a peaceful meeting." "It's just a precaution," said Yuna. Her face showed no emotion, but her eyes scanned everything. "They came to our world with weapons first. Trust is earned." A soft sound indicated a ship was docking. Director Kim took a deep breath. "They're here." June and Hana walked through the station's corridors. The place was mostly empty. Usually, the station would be busy with aliens from many species, but today, most had stayed away. News about the humans had spread fast. They reached a large meeting room. The doors slid open. 2 humans stood inside. One was a male in a dark blue uniform. The other was a female in what looked like light armor. "Commander June," said the male, human with a small bow. "I am Director Kim Sun-woo of Earth's Global Defense Initiative. Thank you for agreeing to meet." June was surprised by the polite greeting. He had expected anger. "Director Kim," he replied with his own bow. "This is Captain Hana, my second in command." The female human nodded at Hana. "I am Security Chief Yuna." Director Kim gestured to a table with 4 chairs. "Please sit." They all sat down. For a moment, nobody spoke. The tension in the room was thick. Finally, Director Kim broke the silence. "3 months ago, you came to our world without warning. You attacked our cities. You killed millions of our people." His voice was calm, but his eyes were hard. Why? June had asked himself this question many times since the failed invasion. "Your world has resources we need. Your people seemed primitive. We thought it would be easy." The words sounded hollow even to his own ears. "And now?" asked Director Kim. "Now I know we were wrong," said June. "About everything." Director Kim nodded. He touched a device on the table, and a 3D map of the galaxy appeared in the air between them. Small lights showed the position of different alien civilizations. "We've been studying your star maps," said Director Kim. "Your Galactic Council controls most of the known galaxy. 7 main species and hundreds of smaller ones. But the main 7 make all the rules. Is that correct?" "Yes," confirmed June, impressed by how much the humans had learned in such a short time. "And these smaller species, these fringe worlds as you call them, they have no real voice in how the galaxy is run?" June shifted uncomfortably. "The Council protects them." "Rules them, you mean," said Security Chief Yuna sharply. "What do you want, Director Kim?" asked June, deciding to be direct. "Revenge? Is that why you're spreading through space so quickly? Is that why you're contacting the fringe worlds?" "What we want is simple," said Director Kim. "We want a seat on the Galactic Council." June couldn't hide his shock. Captain Hana actually laughed. "Impossible," she said. "Species must be spacefaring for at least 1,000 years before they can even be considered for council membership." "Those are your rules," said Director Kim calmly. "Rules made before you met humans." "The council will never agree to this," said June. "Then there will be conflict," said Director Kim. His voice was still calm, but now there was steel in it. Because Earth will not accept being treated as a lesser world. Not after what happened. Not after what we've learned about how the Council treats the fringe worlds. Is that a threat? Asked Captain Hana, her hand moving toward where her weapon would normally be. It's a fact, said Security Chief Yuna, mirroring the movement. We've already formed alliances with 15 fringe world species. They've been waiting for someone to stand up to the Council for centuries. June felt cold. This was worse than he had feared. You're talking about war, a war that would tear the galaxy apart. We're talking about change, corrected Director Kim. Change can come through war or through peace. That choice belongs to the Council. What exactly are you proposing? Asked June. Director Kim leaned forward. In 1 month, 3 human ships will travel to the Council homeworld. I will be on the lead ship. We will request, not ask, request a seat on the Council. If the Council agrees, Earth will join the Galactic community as equals. We will share our technologies and help create a more fair system for all species. And if the Council refuses? Asked June, though he already knew the answer. Then we will continue our alliances with the fringe worlds, said Director Kim. We will continue to share technology with them, and together, we will create a new council, one where all species have a voice. The room fell silent as June thought about what this meant. The humans weren't just seeking revenge or protection, they were threatening to change the entire power structure of the galaxy. You cannot hope to win a war against the combined might of the Council, said Captain Hana. Security Chief Yuna smiled slightly. We defeated your invasion in 3 days. Imagine what we could do with allies in preparation. We don't want war, insisted Director Kim. We want respect, we want security, and we want fairness for all species. The Council has maintained peace for 10,000 years, said June. Peace for whom? Asked Director Kim. For the 7 main species, yes. But not for the fringe worlds. Not for species like mine who discover they aren't alone in the universe. When warships appear in their skies. June couldn't argue with that. The silence stretched between them. Finally, June asked, Why tell me this? I have no power in the Council. Because you were the first to come to Earth, said Director Kim, the first to underestimate us. I want you to be the one to warn the Council about their choice. War or peace. The old way or a new beginning. June stood up slowly. I will deliver your message, but I cannot promise how it will be received. Director. Kim stood as well. That's all I ask, that and one more thing. What? Remember what happened the last time you underestimated humans, said Director Kim. Don't make that mistake twice. June and Hana left the meeting room and walked back to their ship in silence. Only when they were back on board and leaving the station did Hana speak. The Council will never agree to their demands, she said. No, agreed June. They won't. Then it's war, said Hana. A war we might not win. June looked out at the stars. Somewhere out there, the humans were building ships, forming alliances, preparing for whatever came next. Maybe it's time for things to change, he said quietly. Hana looked at him in surprise. What do you mean? I mean that maybe the humans are right, said June. Maybe the galaxy needs a new order, one that doesn't treat new species as targets for conquest. Their ship entered faster than light travel, heading back to report to the Council. June knew his message would not be well received, but he also knew that the galaxy had changed forever the day they invaded Earth, and the humans were coming to make sure everyone knew it. 5 years had passed since the failed invasion of Earth. The grand meeting hall on New Sol, humanity's first colony on another planet, was filled with aliens from over 200 different species. They had come for the annual Summit of Worlds, the most important meeting in the galaxy. Chancellor Minseo stood near the large windows watching the aliens mingle. She was the leader of the unified Earth government, a position that hadn't existed before the aliens came. She wore a simple, blue uniform with a small Earth symbol on the shoulder. Who would have thought we'd be hosting the galaxy's most important meeting just 5 years after learning we weren't alone? Said a voice beside her. Chancellor Minseo turned to see Ambassador Junho, who had been Earth's first representative, to the Galactic Council. His hair had more gray now, but his eyes still held the same determination. "It still feels like a dream sometimes," admitted Minseo. "Or a very strange movie." Security Director Yuna joined them, her sharp eyes constantly scanning the room for any threats. But these days threats were rare. Most species had learned to respect humans. "The Dominion representatives actually smiled at me earlier," said Junho. "Well, I think it was a smile. Hard to tell with those mandibles." "They've learned to live with the new reality," said Yuna. "They had no choice." Across the room, Dr. Yunji was showing a group of alien scientists her latest invention, a new type of faster-than-light engine that was twice as efficient as anything in the galaxy. Many alien scientists were taking notes. The doors opened and Commander June walked in. He was older now, his face lined with new wrinkles. He was no longer a military leader, but worked as an advisor to help aliens understand humans better. "Commander," greeted Chancellor Minseo with a nod. They weren't friends, but they had developed a respectful relationship over the years. "Chancellor," replied June. "A remarkable gathering. I count representatives from 215 species. That's more than have ever gathered in one place in galactic history. Many of them were never invited to important meetings before humans came along," noted Junho. June nodded. "The old council never saw the value in including the fringe worlds. That was a mistake." A soft chime sounded, indicating the summit was about to begin. The crowds began moving toward the central chamber. "High Counselor Tilvax arrived early this morning," said Yuna as they walked. "She wants to speak with you privately after the main session." "She's become a good ally," said Minseo. "I never would have expected that after how things started." "Fear and respect can look similar," said June quietly. "But over time, respect has won out." The central chamber was massive, with seats for all the representatives arranged in circles. At the center was a round table with 9 seats. The new Galactic Council. 7 seats for the original Council species, 1 for Earth, and 1 that rotated among the former Fringe World species. Chancellor Minseo took her place at the council table. High Counselor Tilvax's crystal form shimmered as she sat beside her. "Before we begin today's session," said Tilvax, her voice carrying throughout the chamber, "I wish to acknowledge our hosts. 5 years ago, Earth was an unknown world on the edge of the galaxy. Today, it stands as a central pillar of our new galactic community." Polite applause filled the room. "They have established colonies on 27 worlds," continued Tilvax. "They have shared technology that has improved the lives of countless beings across the galaxy, and they have helped create a more just and equal system for all species." Minseo nodded in acknowledgement, but she knew the truth was more complicated. The path to this moment had not been easy. There had been threats of war, tense negotiations, and more than a few shows of Earth's growing military power before the old council agreed to change. "Today we welcome representatives from a newly contacted world," announced Tilvax. "The Nari, a species from the Outer Rim who have just achieved faster-than-light travel." A group of small blue-skinned aliens entered the chamber. They looked nervous, their large eyes darting around at the many different species watching them. "This is their first contact with the galactic community," said Tilvax. "And I believe Earth should speak first, as they more than any understand what it means to join our community." Unexpectedly, Chancellor Minseo stood and approached the Nari representatives. She remembered how humans had felt when they first learned they weren't alone. The shock, the fear, the wonder. "On behalf of Earth and all human worlds," she said warmly, "welcome to the stars. We have much to learn from each other, and I promise you this: no species will ever again face what we did. The galaxy has changed." She glanced toward Commander June, who sat with the Dominion delegation. "Sometimes the most important lessons come from our greatest mistakes," she continued. "The invasion of Earth was such a mistake, but from it has emerged a stronger, more just galactic community." The Nari seemed to relax a little at her words. "Your world and your people will be respected," Minseo promised. "Your voice will be heard, and your future will be your own to decide." That is the promise of our new galactic order. Later, in a small private room, Chancellor Minseo met with High Counselor Tilvax. "The Nari are fortunate," said Tilvax. "In the old days, a small species like theirs might have been conquered or exploited, like we almost were," noted Minseo. "Yes," admitted Tilvax. "The Dominion's attack on Earth was a terrible mistake, but perhaps a necessary one." "Necessary?" Minseo raised an eyebrow. "The galaxy had become stagnant," explained Tilvax. "The same 7 species holding all the power for thousands of years. The same rules, the same thinking. We needed something to shake us out of our complacency, and we were that something," said Minseo with a slight smile. "Indeed," agreed Tilvax. "Humans were unlike anything we had seen before. Your adaptability, your creativity, your determination, and yes, your capacity for both violence and compassion. You forced us to change." "Not without resistance," reminded Minseo. "The Krell Empire still refuses to accept the new council structure." "They will adapt eventually," said Tilvax. "Or they will be left behind. That is another lesson we learned. From humans, adapt or fade away." A soft knock at the door interrupted them. Ambassador Junho entered with a small data device. "Sorry to interrupt, Chancellor, but you asked to be informed. The Mars colony has reached 10 million people. Governor Taiyong sends his congratulations." 10 million, repeated Minseo with pride. "And another 20 million spread across our other colonies. Humanity has truly reached for the stars, and changed them forever," added Tilvax. When Junho left, Tilvax's crystal form dimmed slightly, indicating a more serious mood. "There are still those who fear humans," she said quietly. "Your species has accomplished in 5 years what took others centuries. Some worry where humans will be in 100 years or 1,000. We don't seek to rule the galaxy," said Minseo firmly. "We only want to be treated as equals and to ensure all species have that same right." "I believe you," said Tilvax. "But prove it to the others by your actions in the coming years. Show them that humans can be trusted with the power they have gained so quickly." "We will," promised Minseo. As the summit continued over the next days, Chancellor Minseo found a moment to speak with Commander June. They stood on a balcony overlooking the colony city, with its mix of human and alien architecture. "Did you ever imagine this?" asked Minseo, gesturing at the city where humans and aliens walked together peacefully. "When you first came to invade Earth?" "Never," admitted June. "We thought we were bringing superior beings to conquer primitives. Instead, we woke a sleeping giant, and now I understand what makes humans different," said June. "You never stop, you never accept limits. When faced with something impossible, you find a way to make it possible. Is that good or bad?" asked Minseo. "Both, I think," said June thoughtfully. "It makes humans dangerous but also valuable. You see possibilities where others see only obstacles." Below them, a group of human children played with young aliens of various species. They were the first generation to grow up knowing Earth was not alone in the universe. "They will build a better galaxy than we did," said June, watching the children. "That's the hope," agreed Minseo, "that each generation learns from the mistakes of the last." "Then I suppose I should thank you," said June with what humans had learned was a Dominion smile. "For what?" "For turning our greatest mistake, invading Earth, into the catalyst for positive change." June looked out at the stars, becoming visible as the sun set. "Sometimes I wonder what would have happened if we had never found Earth." "We would have found you eventually," said Minseo with certainty. "Humans were always going to reach for the stars. It was only a question of when." As night fell over New Seoul, lights came on across the city. Human and alien ships moved through the sky above. The galaxy had changed forever because someone had made the mistake of invading Earth, and despite everything, Chancellor Minseo couldn't help but think it had changed for the better. The end.